Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be a champion guide for Foley, so let's get into it. Alrighty, Foley is a legendary that is actually part of the fusion event going on right now. I have already fused mine, so he doesn't show up, but in your fusion tab, if you have not completed it yet, Foley will be right down here under Relic Keeper. So since I got mine maxed out, I wanted to kind of do a guide so you'll know how viable he is and, you know, when you go for him, how to kind of get started on building him. So let's go ahead and pull Foley up. He's in the Dark Elves. And he's this one right here. Now, you know, something you might hear sometimes, you know, just randomly in the community is that he looks like Guyver. So let me pull that up, and this is what people are talking about. So yeah, pretty striking resemblance to Guyver. You know, from the chest plate to the arm things sticking out to the, you know, thing off the crown and the eyes, you know, and just the design in general. It definitely looks a lot like Guyver. So if you ever hear people making that reference, this is what they're referring to. And for all my champion guides, I do make one of these. This is just a kind of a guide image that I'll have down in the video description for you to go ahead and take a look at. It just shows you know, kind of the stats to go for the optimal sets, and then the legendary grades here, you know, C+ in the campaign, clan boss, and dungeons is kind of where Foley excels, and then the arena, a B+. He's okay, just not super amazing there. And then if we see on the masteries on the bottom right in the support tree, I've got a little ring around that sniper mastery, because that is one to kind of consider instead of one of the attack ones. If you're going to be just using him against the clan boss, that's a really good one to get. It just makes it a higher chance for his debuff to proc on the clan boss. So I did want to circle that one because I wanted you to go ahead and consider it. So yeah, as we go over Foley, his A1 is attack one enemy 4 times with a 20% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. So this is obviously incredible because it's going to pair well with the Giant Slayer mastery, and it's going to decrease the defense of whatever he is attacking, and anything like that on an A1 is a lot of value. The A2 is again attack 4 times at random, so pairs great with Giant Slayer, and each hit has a 35% chance of placing a Leech debuff for 2 turns. Leech basically means whenever your team attacks the leeched target, they're going to get a little bit of lifesteal from it, so it's basically like giving your whole team you know, a version of the lifesteal set just by doing damage to the target. So a pretty cool ability there for an A2. A3 is going to be attack all enemies, and enemies under 2 or more debuffs that are killed by this attack cannot be revived. So this is going to be a really good ability for somewhere like the Ice Golem or the Arena. If you have him kind of go last, you know, you have you know, somebody do some debuffs like a Bellower or something, and then have like a Kale, and then have Foley go last, and anything killed won't be able to be revived. So that can be kind of a cool ability to work around there. And then the passive, this is gained by getting him to at least a 3-star ascension. It's going to be heal this champion by 20% of their max HP and boost the turn meter by 50% whenever an enemy places a stun, freeze, sleep, or provoke on this champion, and then immediately removes all of those debuffs. So this is a really good ability for certain dungeons and obviously for the arena, because provoke and stuff like that is pretty popular in the arena. So just makes him really stalwart in the arena and helps a lot there. Now, one thing to note here when you're going over a hero, some things you want to look at is the base stats here. So with Foley, we can see he's got a pretty good speed, a base speed of 99. If you're thinking about using a hero in the arena, you usually want to take a look at their base speed. You know, 99 is pretty good. When you start getting under 95, it can be kind of tough to you know, throw them into your arena build. So that's something. And it also, the speed set scales off of this bonus. So the lower their speed gets, you know, it just makes a couple points difference off that speed set. And then the attack rating is pretty good. So that means we're going to be getting good value out of the percent gains from the attack sets that give you 15%. You know, if you have a champion like Bellower that only has like 900 something attack or 1,000 or whatever, you get less of a bonus from those attack sets. So, you know, that is always worth noting when you're looking at a hero, is taking a quick look at those base stats. Alrighty, and now I'll kind of pull up my my Foley here and show you You know, obviously I'm gonna need to min-max. I mean, I just got my Foley like last night, so you know this gear is kind of a starting point. And ideally, you probably wouldn't want to wear the accuracy set once you get like, you know, an accuracy banner and you get, you know, optimized gear that have perfect accuracy substats and stuff. You could replace this with like speed or HP, or you know, if you're only using them in the clan boss, or even like an attack set, you could swap out that accuracy. So yeah, you're probably gonna want to go with crit rate gloves that have accuracy and speed and crit chance and all that good stuff. Probably an attack percentage chest. Again, if you're only using him in the clan boss, you know, some of this stuff could change, but this is going to be more of a general usefulness build for Foley to make him good in dungeons and clan boss. And then boots, obviously, you're going to want speed, and then accuracy and crit chance and all that good stuff as substats. So, yeah, and then you're obviously going to want an accuracy banner. I don't have one yet for the Dark Elves, but that's something to work towards. And then, you know, just a good mix of good stats like attack percentage and maybe like a crit damage amulet, you know, with accuracy and the substats and stuff. So that's kind of how I geared mine to start out with. I have not booked him yet because I wanted to show you how viable he is without doing books, and then you know, I probably will book him and see how much of a difference that makes. And then for the masteries, I already did show you the tree, and I'll have that down in the video description, so I won't go super into it, but obviously the most important ones to get are Master Hexer and Giant Slayer, Lore of Steel. We want this, you know, Arcane Celerity to boost the turn meter, and then we just kind of want to take this optimal path here and this optimal path down the right side here, and we can jaunt over to Cycle of Magic. If you're going to be using it mostly in the arena, you might want to take Evil Eye instead of Cycle of Magic, but that's kind of the general overview of the masteries. And now I'll go ahead and I like to do like a standard kind of dungeon. So I usually pop into the Arcane Keep, level 15. It's kind of just a standard fight, and let you kind of see, you know, the hero work. It's kind of a quick, you know, minute-and-a-half battle, and you can just kind of see how the hero plays and how they perform. So Foley's going to be over here on the far left with the kind of purple dagger. And then at the end, you'll be able to see how his damage compares to other people and his usefulness and stuff. And then after this, I'll probably, you know, maybe pop into like an arena battle or a clan boss battle and kind of show how that all goes, and get some damage numbers as far as how viable he can be in the clan boss and stuff. I probably won't do an arena battle because I would really have to kind of get his speed in line to have him go in the proper turn, and since I'm not really going to be using him in the arena, I haven't done that, because you have to really get the speed locked in to have your people go in the right order. And there we can see the little like raindrop debuff up there on the far right. That's the leech. So now we can see, you know, people are going to heal when they attack the leeched target. And yeah, there we go. And we can see Foley did 217,000 damage and placed the leech and brought some utility, and that's without books. So, you know, definitely viable in dungeons and brings some good debuffs and does a decent amount of damage. Now let's go ahead and pop into a clan boss battle here. Usually we attack like Nightmare and stuff. I want to be... I like to take like an average level, like hard, because I want the video to be more relevant. You know, some people are only on normal, some people are on hard, some are on brutal. So I like to pick kind of a middle ground here, so you guys can get kind of a feel for how that works, kind of like on an average battle. And let me build a team here. So, and then let's throw in Bogwalker for the attack down. Where's my Boggy? I'm so horrible at finding champions on this thing. I'm sure you've seen me scroll by him. There he is. Okay. So yeah, we've got the attack buff. I don't really have a good sustain debuff or aura, so I'm just going to go with that. And then, you know, it's Void, so the affinities don't really matter. Steel Skull, Bogwalker, Juliana, and we'll see kind of how Foley does. And this is without books. Like, after the video, I'll probably book mine. So he will be even better than what he does here. I'll leave it on auto so it doesn't take 20 minutes, and so I can kind of talk while everything's going on. Alright, so there's the HP burn. Always worth noting, you can only have 1 HP burn at a time, and you can only have a maximum of 10 debuffs at a time on the clan boss, so that's definitely worth considering. There is Bogwalker applying the 50% decrease attack debuff, which is huge. And there we see the value of Foley's 4-hitter. He got 2 Giant Slayer procs, which is like 120,000 damage. So, you know, a big deal there. This party right here does not have somebody with Weaken, which is obviously really important. That's why a character like Aether was really good. So, but ideally I would get somebody like Tayrell or something, but I haven't pulled him yet. So, you know, you got to kind of work with what you get. And right there was, you know, like 40-something thousand damage from Foley. And then the one attack did, you know, like almost 200,000 because it got the 2 Giant Slayer procs. That one was 1 Giant Slayer proc. And I'm kind of interested to see here in a couple minutes how Foley's damage numbers stack up to like Juliana and Aethar are also 2 really good clan boss heroes, so it's going to be fun to see. Worth noting, Juliana and Aethar do have max level books. They've been fully booked up, and Foley has not. But I got some feedback while I was streaming to do it without books, so that people get a more realistic look if they don't have the books available to max him out. That way you can kind of tell how he performs without that crazy investment, because legendary books are probably the hardest thing in the game to acquire as far as like items. Obviously, like Void legendaries are the toughest champions to acquire, and then legendary books are probably the toughest item to acquire. And this is actually probably the first clan boss battle that I haven't used Apothecary. I didn't know who to slide out to make room for Foley. You know, I need the attack down from Bogwalker. And, you know, obviously I need the Steel Skull. He's S tier against the clan boss. And so with Foley wearing the lifesteal set and a couple other people wearing the lifesteal set, I thought I'd be okay with doing without Apothecary. So I'm kind of interested to see how that stacks up. And that was bad luck. We saw 4 attacks from Foley not getting a Giant Slayer. That's going to be pretty rare. And we can see he can basically fully heal himself because Giant Slayer and War Master, they do synergize with the lifesteal set. So that's why they can kind of work so well together in sustaining your champions. Because, you know, you see Foley just immediately going to full health every time. That's the handy thing about wearing the lifesteal set on somebody so likely to proc Giant Slayer. That's why 4 hit attacks are so good. And obviously the Leech is helping my other champions heal just a little bit. That little, like, teardrop debuff. Or raindrop, whatever it is. Ooh, and there goes Aethar, so we're getting kind of close to the end of the battle here. Once you start losing people, it usually snowballs pretty quickly. All right, and it looks like it's gonna be curtains here pretty soon. Foley is the last one to survive. And there it is. Alrighty, so we can see here, Foley able to keep up with ASUS. ASUS is maxed out book-wise. So I expect, you know, if Foley does get full books, to be closer to, you know, probably like 2.4, 2.5 million, somewhere in there. So definitely viable. Juliana, obviously, max booked, is one of the best heroes against the clan boss, especially epics. You know, if I had her fully maxed out with like ascensions and better gear, she'd probably be over 5 million. So yeah, but we can see here Foley, you know, held his own, was up there with ASUS, and if I book him, he'll be even better. So maybe a little bit less than I thought. I thought he'd probably be at like 3 to 3.2. So this is a little bit, this is my first run with him. I'm kind of doing it live on the video. So I did think this would be a little bit more than that, to be honest. But still a pretty solid hero and pretty solid numbers. But a little bit lower than I thought they would be, you know, just full disclosure and being honest. So yeah, that's going to kind of do it for this Foley video. And in hindsight, everybody's probably going to be asking, you know, was it worth it to fuse him? Do you recommend doing it? Gosh, I do think it's worth it if it's realistic for you to go for it, because acquiring legendary champions is really tough. So I would say to go for it if it's realistic for you to get it done. And I'm gonna probably throw some books on him, and I'll keep you guys posted if that ends up being worth the investment and how much it improves his numbers. But this video is already kind of getting up into that 16-17 minute range, so I don't want to do that and make the video too long. But yeah, if you have any questions, drop it down in the comments and I'll do my best to help you out. And as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.